whatever you talk about Josh Allen seemingly playing his best football, it looks like he's most free.
Yeah.
It looks like he's most free. Definitely the most happy he's had.
For sure. Without a doubt.
I mean, he's always, we see him at practices. We'll get some viral videos of him dancing, and doing Josh Allen stuff.
Pranking people.
Yeah, he's so funny. And then they'll do like, hey, the best shit talker, or who talks the most shit is Josh Allen. So you hear about that? But it just looks like he's a little kid out there. It legitimately looks like he's a little kid, but he's not a little kid.
No.
He can run you over at any given moment and will do that. It's like the way he plays, the style in which he plays, so much fun. We're taking shots. We're talking shit. We're running people over. Defense also playing great.
Yeah.
Now Jacksonville sucks.
They do.
So that
They
is
do.
obviously the iteration of this entire thing. But defense plays phenomenal as well. Do they have it up there in Buffalo, D-Butch, you think, this year? Is this the year the Buffalo Bills get over to... Is this the year that the Buffalo Bills fans have been waiting since the missed kicks? Is this the time whenever they lose Stefon Diggs and they lose a bunch of name players? Jordan Poyer, all-pro on the defensive side.
Yeah.
He's gone. There's a lot of people that leave. Is this the time for the Buffalo Bills?
Calling Von Miller wash. What did he do last night? Get another sack? I mean, they're built. They're playing. They play hard week in and week out, and they still will get healthier throughout the year. So they're clicking on all cylinders right now. Kincaid showed up. Keon Coleman even had a big play. Shakir, I think he'll continue to be kind of Josh Allen's number one target. But it's not like coming in as a defense, you can say, all right, let's take away Diggs. Let's take away this guy. Like the run game with Cook under this Joe Brady call offense has been great. And Josh Allen, you mentioned, just being free, just letting it fly. And when you're playing, when you get that Josh Allen experience, obviously it's going to be a ton of good, sprinkling a little bad here. You haven't seen much bad early on, so it's great right now. Everything looks great.
Yeah, we haven't seen a turnover machine.
No.
Which is
take care of it.
He'll lead the league in touchdowns, and then he'll have the most amount of turnovers as well. And it's like, well, that's Josh Allen football. You're going to play with that for what he's going to create. But now he's not forcing anything anywhere, seemingly.
Yeah.
Just allowed to kind of, and by allowed, and I think a lot of people said, he took a shot at Stefon Diggs afterwards whenever he said everybody's just not worried about stats or anything like that. I don't think just because he says that he's taking a shot at somebody else. But whenever you have somebody as talented as Stefon Diggs, game plan is get ball to person. Why do you have him on your team if you're not going to get him the ball?
Yeah.
And obviously everybody talks about the tension and the potential, negative reaction from a wide receiver if he doesn't get the ball enough. Quarterbacks know that. Everybody knows that. We talked to Aaron Rodgers. He said, got to get the ball to 5. I got to get the ball to Garrett. Well, every quarterback knows, got to get ball. If you have a guy who is different than everybody else, you're going to try to get him the ball more. I mean, that's just naturally going to take place. So whenever that person's gone, and then now it's just like, okay, best playmaker on team. Okay, so like who do I want to get ball to, as opposed to who do I have to get a ball, is a very fascinating, freeing feeling. And once again, I don't think that's a shot at Stefon Diggs. I think that's just him accepting what the reality of the situation is and being very happy about it.
And he needed that early on in his career, because you saw his numbers and his development before Stefon showed up. When you can show it, when you have a guy who every time in one-on-one situation, he's going to get open. He's going to win a one-on-one matchup unless the defense has to shift guys, have to roll up and put 2 guys on him, and that helps free other guys up. When you have a guy like Diggs, he's going to make your quarterback better. But you can't get to a point where you're like, okay, now he understands the game or he sees it differently. You got more balance on the offensive side. Even if the run game necessarily isn't working, Josh Allen is a run game in himself. If somebody's not open, or I could run around and break the defense's back with my own leg. So I think he needed Diggs for that phase in his career, and now he's at a point where he doesn't at this point. But that's not a knock on Diggs.
No.
When you are Stefon Diggs, when you are that talented of a receiver, of course you want the damn ball. Even we saw in the other game.
And everybody's going to want you to get the ball.
Exactly. We saw in the other game with Terry McLaurin. We saw the quarterbacks that have been throwing him the ball, and he's been quiet going up into Monday night game last night. And he was like, hey, be patient. I'm not going to make a scene. I'll wait for it. And when it comes, my shot is called, I'll show up.
Yeah, obviously the Josh Allen situation with the Buffalo Bills seems to be great.
Just the eye test. Just the eye test. Watching Josh, he's throwing the ball on time. And if we throw the ball on time consistently, with proper accuracy, like the ball last night, the touchdown to Shakir. Is it Shakir?
Yeah.
They ran just shallow cross, right? Josh throws it. Oh, you even got the clip. Look at this. This is perfect.
Oh, yeah.
You got the clip. One hitch, ball in perfect position where a guy can run after catch. They're playing man, so nobody has vision of the football. You just got to break one tackle, an explosive gain. That's a simple play. And if you can key up the Coleman clip, can you key up that clip?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, look at this. Okay, we're going to take a little action under center. We're going to hit the top. We're going to throw a perfect ball, catch the ball on the 5. It's perfectly in stride. It's a touchdown. If that ball's behind him, it's a nice play, first down. Ball's on the 3. But you put it 1 foot in front of his face mask there, it's a touchdown. I mean, that's the difference. When you can play under center and you can use your hitches properly and you throw the ball in the proper number, that's how you get the yards after the catch. So Josh is playing through 3 weeks. I believe he has 7 touchdowns. Is that right? 7 or 8 touchdowns and no picks.
We don't care.
No picks.
We don't care
No picks.
None of those.
Josh is taking care of the football, and that's winning football, and that's playing at MVP level.
It does feel like there's a lot more good Josh Allen happening right now than much less negative. And that, I think, goes into what D-Butt's about to ask you about.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it earlier. Dylan, being a younger quarterback, obviously you're, old head now, triple OG, but as a younger quarterback, managing that relationship with number one wide receivers. Obviously Josh Allen, he loses Steph Diggs. We talked about him earlier. You talked about the Terry McLaurin comments coming into this game with a slow start. You always have cameras on the sideline that's going to be reading every body language and everything that the wide receiver does once they get there. How tough is it managing those relationships as a younger quarterback in the league?
It's really, really important. And first and foremost, you got to find ways to get that guy the ball. But secondly, you want there to be a mutual respect on the field that you're not going to show them up and they're not going to show you up, because there's no quicker way to kill a quarterback's confidence than showing up your guy on the field, especially when you're a young player. And I think it's tough sometimes for veteran guys who maybe been with a veteran quarterback before or got more touches, don't feel like they're, have the role that they want. It's tough. And again, that's why I highlight Terry, because there could have been some fits and some frustration and some helmets thrown when you have 8 catches for 39 yards in the first 2 games. But I don't feel like I saw any clips of that. And everything he said during the week was spot on. So you don't want to show up in your guys on the field, and you don't want to be showing up as a young player, because that can get in your head and you maybe start forcing the ball to the guy. It's got to come in the flow, come in the rhythm. There's ways you can do it. You want to get your guy involved early and often, but defenses can dictate some of that, especially if they're going to play a lot of cover 2 against your top guy, or star coverage with some help as well, which we saw. I feel like there's more legitimate number 1 corners maybe in the league this year than we've seen in the previous years. We've faced some great ones the first 3 weeks, and we got one of the best, if not the best, this week. Obviously, I love our guys in New York. Counting out our guys, Pat Surtain is mentioned among the best corners in the league with just about anybody you talk to, and rightfully so. I mean, he does star coverage. He plays on the slot. He plays outside. He tackles. He's got great ball skills. He stays on the hip. He's incredibly savvy and patient. I mean, he's a hell of a player. And there's only one of him, but there's more guys who are in that category. Christian Gonzalez is a fantastic player. L'Jarius Sneed, we played. Charvarius Ward, there's some really damn good corners we played in the first 4 weeks, counting this one. So, but again, just to finish on your question, it's an important relationship. And the more communication you can have, the better that's going to be, and the more patience on both sides. A lot of times vet to young guy, because the young guy is just trying to figure out what the hell is up and down. And so the more patience you can have with the young guy, the more confidence you're going to give him, and in turn, probably the more opportunities you're going to get.
Yeah, that's the reality of the situation. Some people try to paint it bad if it's going bad, and then they don't talk about how whenever it was going good, it was a very similar relationship. Like, you have a great guy on your team, you're going to try to give him the ball anyways because he's a great guy. But then also, if you know him, that's why the Josh Allen convo about him saying, like, this year it feels like he's more free seemingly because Stefon Diggs isn't there, and people are saying, well, that's a shot at Stefon Diggs. It's like, no, it's just a very different team when you don't have that particular playmaker out there, So it's a fascinating development up there in Buffalo. Josh looks like he's having the most fun he's ever had.
Yeah.